Okay, so now we're ready to start the final um, piece of the setup, and that is to calculate the overall grade for the course. And we do that by using this course grade setting. So over here, we're going to go ahead and click on Edit Settings. And the main thing that we need to do now is to choose the aggregation method. Now, if you have 5 categories in your course and they're all worth the same amount, you can just choose simple weighted mean of grades. But more frequently, faculty have a system where some categories are worth more than others. And in that case, you want to use weighted mean of grades. Unless you are using a system where it's a total point system and you're simply summing, adding up your grades, do not use natural. Natural sums up your grades, and you don't want to use that if you have a weighted system. You want your grade book aggregation or calculation to match the way you've organized and structured the weights in your grades. So most faculty will use weighted mean of grades. And then hit Save Changes. And here you'll see that you have a space to enter the weight for each category. So I'm just going to go back and double check by looking at my syllabus. Each of these 3 essays I have weighted at 15%. So I'm just going to go in here and set this at 15, 15, 15. Again, I'll look at the next weight. My research paper is 30, and I'm going to go ahead and set these up for each. Now, just to notice, I've entered the weights for all of the categories according to my syllabus. They match up with my syllabus. And down here, just to double check, my no weight in grade category is weighted at 0. So anything I put into this folder won't count towards the student's grade. Now I'm going to click Save Changes and Continue, and that's locked in all of those percentages that I've added. I can always go back and change them. Now, as you're working during the semester, keep a lookout for any grades that end up down here at the bottom that aren't in a category, because as I mentioned in the previous video, that can skew the calculation of the grade. So you want to make sure that you are not letting that happen. Now, there is a setting that's very confusing for people that I want to mention, and that's within all the folders, and within this folder is, if you click on Edit Settings, you'll see you have an option, I think it might be here under Show More, to exclude empty grades. And for the final grade of the course, I don't want to do that. If I exclude empty grades, that means any item that doesn't have a grade in it won't be counted. So if I, for example, I didn't enter a 0 and a student didn't submit an essay, that whole essay grade wouldn't be counted in their grade. So I don't want in my overall to exclude empty grades. Empty grades end up being zeros in my calculation. So we don't want to exclude empty grades, because doing so means that anything a student doesn't have a grade for will just be eliminated from the calculation. And most of us want anything a students don't have a grade for to be counted as a 0. Now, the other way that you can make sure that doesn't happen is to make sure to enter zeros for all of your students that don't submit an assignment. So, to routinely go back if someone never did submit something, then go ahead and enter that 0. You want to hit Save Changes to make sure that you preserve that. Then the last thing that I like to do is to make sure that my students can't, during the semester, see their course grade. And that's because it's not really possible to give them an accurate grade. If I show them their grade as it is right now, I've had students who skipped their final exam because they said, I already had an A. I didn't need it. And that's how it works in high school for students who are using that total point score. If they already had an A, they didn't need to go to the exam. And I don't want students to think that. On the other hand, if I show them the grade with all of the zeros for work they haven't done yet, they get overwhelmed and confused and don't understand why they only have a 27, and it's because they only have one grade in so far. So the easiest way to manage that is to allow the students to see in the grade book their individual grades, but not the final grade that Moodle has calculated. And the way that we do that is we go here to the course grade right here at the bottom, and where it says Edit, we click Hide. And that means that the students cannot see their final grade. The other helpful tip that I have is that here, actually, no, I'm just going to leave that one alone. Okay, so that should help you with your whole gradebook setup if you need to add grades or reorganize grades or restructure after you've already started the semester. If you have any questions or need further help or have more complicated gradebook issues, just let us know at the TLC.